So the topic today is the gentrification of Jamaican music. Gentrification is a construct. I felt the need to go down this road because prior to this event, I've been having multiple conversations and people have their say, their thought, and it's passionate. We're all Caribbean people. We're more passionate than most, right? We have an apostrophe on this thing named reggae music. Oh, I think. When we hear something we don't like, oh, I think. When I download and buy nothing, but we're complaining, oh, I think. All right? So, but needless to say, I feel where the confusion comes most is with that word gentrification. It's been a popular word off late. So gentrification is a construct where poor urban areas is normally changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing, attracting new businesses. Typically, though, displacing its current inhabitants. All right? So that's where we're going right now. It's not just about injecting resources and whatnot, right? It also comes at a cost, displacement, right? So that's why a lot of times when I hear the term gentrification, I know for a fact it's not being used accurately. But passion makes you do some crazy things, right? So we're gonna have some conversations today. Again, the gentrification of Jamaican music. Aaron, and I'm gonna go down the line with this one, right? When we say gentrification of Jamaican music, as somebody who has been tasked with selling and marketing Jamaican music, I won't relegate it to just reggae. What exactly does that term, gentrification of reggae music, mean to you? Mr. Engineer.
Hello, thank you, G. And greetings, South Florida massive, respect. Down from New York, and happy to be here with you. I've been at VP for quite a while, and as I heard this phrase, I thought, well, you know, in some ways, I sit in that gentrification chair. I remember my first interviews with VP, talking to Miss Pat, and one of the things we were talking about was getting the VP products into Walmart at that time. So I do understand the idea of broadening audience and trying to expand what we've done or what the music is or who that audience is, and that's a part of our day-to-day. So I think that that's an element of it. So what are some of those things that we do particular are maybe improvement of the product, the remastering, trying to work on contracts and agreements, trying to improve our business day-to-day in terms of the sort of partner we are with these other companies. So that's sort of an idea that I would have as a start.
Awesome. Tifa, you've amassed international success as an artist, right? An entrepreneur. Obviously, you have a fan base that stems past the diaspora, past Jamaica, out into the mainstream world, which is what a lot of us strive for. As an artist, what does the gentrification of reggae music mean to you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I struggled with this topic because it can be broken down into many different topics. So are we talking about the gentrification of the music, or are we talking about the gentrification of the business?
Both.
Because it's two different things. And if we're talking about the gentrification of the music, then that's a whole, I'll be here all night. With regards to the gentrification of the business, of course, with technology, with moving forward over the past years, the business has gotten better with gentrification. However, I would say that in terms of the music, we've gotten somewhat backward. If you get what I'm saying. And because back then, there was a standard. The music has a standard. And I feel like the standard is no longer there anymore, or it's not so much there anymore again. Because of technology, everybody's a producer, everybody's an artist. If your song never sounded good, you couldn't play on the radio back then. If you were off key, you couldn't come on the stage. You know what I mean? If you never do the rite of passage and go up and sing and never get a buckle, then you became an artist. You know what I mean? Now anybody can be an artist. You can just go viral and anybody can be an artist. So I feel in terms of gentrification of the music itself, we've somewhat gone backward, and other persons have brought reggae and dancehall to the fore. But with respect to the business, we've definitely gotten better.
Awesome. Supa Twitch.
Yes, sir.
I've always felt that the most effective means of music distribution, especially for reggae music, It's not the retailer, it's the sound system.
That's true.
You are in real time with the masses out there, right? Oftentimes you're giving it to the masses prior to the retailers getting it out there.
Absolutely.
So from your controller, your laptop, looking out into the audience and feeling the reciprocity, have you felt, have you seen the effects of the gentrification?
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. As a DJ who's been playing music, selector, so to speak, who's been playing music for like 37 years, so I've seen the evolution and seen the growth, and I've seen where it has turned a circle and come forth. Back in the day, we were the radio station. We were the first radio station, as you said. We play the song first, so we see the first reaction of people. But nowadays, because of social media, you know, as Tifa said, everybody's a star. You know what I mean? You don't have to actually have talent to actually become a star. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you realize that any and everything comes to the forefront, and some of these things shouldn't be. And some people actually get a platform that they shouldn't get. But it also helps a lot of talented people who couldn't find it. You know what I mean? So there's balance. No, there's balance there's balance in it. So we love the evolution of the music, and it has to continue, but with some sort of standard. That's where I'm coming from.
Makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. J Vibe.
Good evening.
Good evening. Not only do you create, because a lot of times there are lots of vantage points, right? But oftentimes we see one or the other. You're a creator, but you're also a curator, and you're out there on the stage, on the world stage. I've seen over the years, not only your catalog, but the artists you work from and work for grow further and wider. So you're seeing audiences that oftentimes many of the artists don't see, right? From your vantage point, have you seen, felt the gentrification of the reggae music?
Good evening, everybody. Absolutely. I mean, I've gone from doing shows like Sumfest to doing the quote-unquote, politically correct, the West Coast reggae world, where it's not us, so to speak. And there is not one Jamaican artist on the show, but these are 5-day festivals, and it's all sold out. So, and then seeing the reaction, because me as a creator, I always try to keep the authenticity of whatever that I produce, because that's important to me, and that's who I am. And all of these West Coast reggae artists, they want the authenticity. Now, between one side and the other side, what am I supposed to do? Because I you know, it's not finished until the artists are, you know, whoever that I'm working for is happy. But, you know, I always get where, okay, why do they always sound like this and we sound like that? I said, well, it's very kind of clear. You know, you don't sound like us, not one bit, but the music can. And when the music does, and they sound like that, there's an imbalance. And so, you know, to me, it's still all over the place, but it's growing. And with our help, like Twitch and Tifa was saying, is, you know, we have to keep the authenticity of it.
Yes.
That's the only way that we can keep our genre alive and well. We need to keep the authenticity of it. And educate also, because those that don't have it but want to do it, they're gonna find other means, and those other means don't sound good.
Right.
Unless we touch it. So that's just really what it is.
Awesome. Mr. Lewis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to be here, sir, with such distinguished people in the audience, you know. Miss Pat, we have sold a lot of records together. One love.
So a lot of your biggest hits by Inner Circle are consumed by people outside of our marketplace. Talking about TV shows, I travel the world. I'm yet to go to a resort and haven't heard one of your songs play. I hope the royalties are coming because I have never been to a resort and not heard one of your songs being played or listen to a cover band that has some talent and them not have their version of Sweat. To be perfectly honest with you, I've done gigs where I've needed a song to rile the people up and I just have to draw feet too. So.
Well, as long as you're paying some neighboring rights, it's all right. You know?
My people will call your people, sir. But you exist and your band and your catalog exist in a space where a lot of people aspire to go, which, to be perfectly honest with you, is outside of the room, right? From your vantage point, have you seen or felt the effects of this so-called gentrification of reggae music?
Yeah, of course. It's obvious to us, you know, it's not a lie, to establish on what she said about the business part. What a lot of young artists don't realize is that they're going to get old. And what they're going to look for publishing. A 5-day-old song, it's not going to last. You understand me? So it's not, every hype is a good hype. You have to think of yourself. You might be 25 now, you say, hey, I'll run the place. But are you really running the place? Because everybody says Spotify, everybody says this, that. But what are the numbers? A man says, I'm in an empire. I have the privilege to own, you know, a big studio. I've seen budgets for the big artists, the small artists. I've seen Miley Cyrus. I've seen all of them, Pharrell. Totally different level, my brother. Totally, from creation to end is thought out and is budgeted. So charging a man the biggest money don't mean what, how long it's going to, just like it's business, you know. It's music business, capital letters. But everybody want the now business. You understand me? So with modern reggae, if you understand what modern reggae is, just like G-Vibes are talking about the California bands, they are doing business because they are only using, I mean, honestly, if you want to be honest, we borrowed, you know. Because ska came from boogie woogie. If you know music, we come on the 2 and the 4 is the 12 measure bar. Tumpa, tumpa. That's how ska was created. And as the country changed politically, you know, reggae came and the consciousness. All right, look at how old would Bob Marley be today? 80 years old. Is his music old? It is fresh as, you understand me? And if you ask anybody as business go, you go to BMI ASCAP, Bob Marley's statement is on 4 pallets. So he, as one artist, is making more money in terms of just performing rights than the whole hype of dancehall. So where is real? Let's talk seriously. Where is real? Just like you, everybody's here, you got auto-tune. I can make this pretty girl sing.
She can't sing, though.
Can she? No, she can't sing, but I say,
Google
no,
her.
sorry, don't kill me. But I say, can some people really sing? They can't. But they use the technology to create. You're going to make a video, you hype the thing, so it sells, sells, sells. But after the selling is over, as I said, the tears of the clown. Because you know deep in yourself, it's not real. So who you want? You want a manager, you want a diva, you want this, you want $300,000 private jet. All right, fine, ain't nothing wrong. You know what I mean? You can't tell an artist what to not to ask for. But after a while, the cash register go jing, 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 jing. Then another man come. Then he, all right, let me ask you a question, G-Vibes. How big is the population of Jamaica? What is the population of Jamaica? 2.8. Okay, so you tell me, every single Jamaican stream music, that each artist can make $1 million a year in Jamaica. It's not there. You know what I mean? Let's be real. So when you come out of the genre, you come into America, you're going to say, where do I fit in? As I said, we borrowed from the American boogie woogie. Now the younger youth is borrowing from the hip-hop. You understand? And they figure if they do hip-hop and come to America, it's going to work. It's not going to work because it's totally different. Jamaica is so great. We have reggae gospel. We have created genres that we make it up ourselves. You understand me? So for that, I clap up that. But we just need to understand where we want to go and what we really want to do. You know what I mean? Not to fight young people. Do your thing, have your fun. There ain't nothing wrong, because we're only here for a time. Some people get 15 minutes. I get my 15 minutes. I ain't complaining. You know what I mean?
It was an hour. It was an hour. So, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, and I'm glad you mentioned the things you mentioned because, and I think it is important that it comes from somebody like yourself. Primarily because there's a delicate dance that people do within the sphere of reggae music. There's a lot of purists, as we may say, right? Ain't nothing more faux than the purists, but we got a lot of purists. And there's a dance between the business of music and the art of music. And you just made mention, you spoke about the business, right? As well as there is the art. There's a lot of people out there who feel like focusing on the art is more what we should be doing. Some people say let's focus on the business, some say let's focus on both. As we talk about the gentrification of this genre, or of Jamaican music, Bob Marley is the benchmark. Every time we talk about music, we use Bob Marley as the benchmark, right?
Have to be.
But the reality of it is, a lot of the music that we hear today from Bob Marley was not the original, right? Almost every Bob song that you love, and you're driving down the street too, that ain't the original, right? Some remixing, some remastering, some retouching, some overdubbing, a lot of stuff that in today's argument people consider part of the gentrification of the music, right? So technically speaking, if we're talking about gentrification, is it safe to say that it is not a no thing? This process of gentrification has started a long time ago.
It did. Because there's a publisher friend of mine, right? And he did a survey. And I don't know if you realize that 60 to 75% of all Jamaican hit songs is covers of American music. Delroy Wilson, Rain from the Sky is a Chuck Jackson song. So we took a lot from there, you know, and made it our own. So in that event, a lot of songs went to Ken Booth, Everything I Own. 10 weeks #1 in England. It's made by Bread. But we would take a good song and turn it around and somebody say, hey, that's the original.
We claim the song. We claim the song as ours.
You as a selector supposed to know.
Of course.
You can play a Jamaican song and play the foreign song.
Yep. Silhouettes. Dennis Brown, Silhouettes.
Okay.
A lot of songs, actually, I did not know that there was originals to it.
Of course. Where are we today? As you said, Gentrification now. So what's the next step? You know what I mean? We remember, you know, all the older artists are 50 high, 60 high. You understand? We don't want to give no exact numbers, but you know.
No numbers here.
So where we're going to go next? A Shaggy, a Sean Paul is in their 50s, 40s. The Marleys is in their 50s. Where is that new group who is going to come now to give that signature song that's going to last?
And what I believe, the business will fix itself eventually. Because guess what? Look at YG Marley.
Okay.
All right? So we all thought, a lot of people were saying that reggae music was dead. And then he takes a song from 50 years ago from his grandfather and he puts his spin on it. And the young people were singing it. Not the older people, not J-Vibe and his age group. We're talking about young people singing the song.
So speak for yourself.
100 million streams.
Exactly. So that means if you do the music, it doesn't matter the age, it's going to pull your heart.
So let me ask you this, Twitch. Now, Tifa, because I'm coming to you next, but let me ask you this. The concept of gentrification, remember that the construct is created by the beneficiaries, right? And the displaced. So who, in your opinion, since we're talking about gentrification, who are the beneficiaries of gentrification, Tifa?
I mean, all of us. There's not one person that benefits from, if it's done properly, there's not
the
one.
Business.
Yeah, there's not one person that benefits from it. And to reiterate and to kind of, you know, touch on what Daddy was saying and Twitch, again, it comes back to a standard because it was the song by YG Marley was properly done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can take a song and flip it and then it sounds like foolishness. You know what I mean? But what is this? We have to come back to a standard.
Yes.
At some point, the actual music, are we in the music business? At some point, the actual music has to come into the music business. Understand.
Again, beneficiaries, those people who are displaced. Again, it's the gentrification of reggae music, right? I have the displeasure of talking to a lot of disgruntled people, right? On my show, I talk to a lot of people. Cameras are on, they're happy. Cameras are off, they're not, right? So the conversations always go around the people see reggae music as quite a lucrative venture. But a lot of us can't point out the beneficiaries of the reggae music. They're not our neighbors, they're not next door, they're not the artists that we know, right? Except for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. But then they see what they think is success on the other side of the globe, right? Aaron, talk to me a little bit. You distribute, you market reggae music, right?
Yes.
Where, in your opinion, is the lucrative market right now? I know who is not because, like I said, not us. Us in the room, we download the thing. We buy. Everybody out in the parking lot, up university, nah, buy nothing, right? So talk to me a little bit. Where's the heavy markets? Where's the music being consumed?
Well, if I can go back and just talk about beneficiaries and displacement, right, in terms of where the music is. And I think an important thing as we look around the room and it's an adult audience, right? Reggae music and Bob Marley and the influence of that, that sound, that era has moved on, right? And it's not a fixed system that you can hold on to various elements. Every day, every week, as technology is coming in studio and distribution channels and new generation of people, the reference points are changing. So I don't know that it's so, I don't have a really black and white, I try not to have a viewpoint about that. What's better, what makes sense, what's gonna go. Because honestly, many of the times a record will play and at the label, you know, you're one of the first people to hear a hit record. Many times I've not thought it was gonna go, and it will go, right? So you never know, number one. But also, in terms of what's happened with technology, I think it's kind of a mixed bag. I don't want to be controversial about it, but because it's so easy to put music out there, the beneficiaries are these young producers, right? And kids. Now, granted, they're learning the business publicly, because there was a time when the music would be demos and it wouldn't come out and you had these barriers for entry. So they developed their crafts internally. And I think that's what happened. And in the studios of Jamaica, it was developed internally. So
you touch a very good point. Because in essence, where I think a lot of people in reggae music go wrong, they want to make a reggae song instead of make a song. Let's start with a song.
True.
Let's start with a song. Bob Marley never said, "I'll make a reggae tune." Yes. Chris Blackwell did not promote Bob Marley as a reggae artist. He promoted him as an artist.
That's true. That's true.
So when you ask him about...
big up Copeland Forbes, who's with us tonight.
Okay, sir.
Big up.
When you talk about lucrative markets, right? You have to look at the artists. Okay, I have been on shows, which when I look in the hall, I see heavy metal people with earrings and people looking at it and say, whoa, we're going there tonight. Just play some reggae music, dub music. Right. What is dub music? That's EDM. That's where it came from.
You just double the BPM.
A DJ like Supa Twitch can make $100,000 a night playing EDM. What is EDM?
Which part?
Adata go on Twitch? Adata go on Twitch?
No, but the paradox is, what is he doing different from you?
And he's not even better looking. That's insane.
So perception. It's perception that this thing is that. But we come as the reggae artists and say, boy, 100,000, 200,000, boy, the man they rob me. How him rob you? You made a deal, bro. You made a deal, so how the man rob you?
That's kind of true. That's true. That's a conversation we have all the time in terms of people always complain about what they don't get, right? And how they got taken advantage of on their contracts, the contracts that they signed. Because a lot of times, go ahead.
If I could finish though, about the beneficiaries and the youth, I feel like as the representative VP being this harbinger of the music and the history, the idea is we do have to reach the youth and bring them in to the music and embrace them in the culture in order to move it forward. There's always going to be a Jamaica, there's always going to be Jamaican culture, but what goes across or why is Intense called a reggae artist when he sounds like a hip hop song? Because of his Jamaican patois? Because he's from Jamaica? Oftentimes we're around the office saying, well, how do we define it? What is the essence of reggae and genuine reggae that we can say, this is the piece? You hear it, you feel it, right? You have your experience of it, but the reference points in terms of the world today and the youth, it's about us really, the outreach. So there's the historical part, and we do our share with that, but then there's also, in terms of the contemporary music, sure, there's formula, there are ways you could get the exact notes out there. There's ways that you can appropriate what's
Right.
history, like with the cover songs and so forth, that it translates, and the older audience says, yes, that's what it is, and the kids start to cling to it. But it's a moving target. I think that's really what I was trying to say.
That's
And
true.
sometimes we feel like we're lost out in the thing because it isn't what it was, right? People don't listen to music even the way that they did when we were kids.
They don't.
This a friend of mine, he's in his 50s. He's like, you know, I had a better stereo when I was in college than I do now, because he's listening on little headphones and a little mini speaker.
But-
This is just how technology has changed things, so how people interpret the music, how they relate to it. So looking around, I see all the live photos, and it made me in mind how that, I think, is maybe where we should be looking as what's the medium that's going to really bring this across. It's live, it's the people in these situations, and what's happened on a stage show. I think that's where the seed of it is today.
That's what the modern reggae is doing. Okay, my friend called me and said, man, I put my song on Spotify, and what the white man don't want to play my tune. I said, bro, Spotify is 100 servers. It's no physical. First thing, let me inform the crowd here. Spotify is a tech company. It is a tech. It's not a record label. It has no interest in selling music. He said we stream music. So when I used to register a song, you had one place, copyright place. Now we have 17 registrations to register your song. So how can somebody rob you? When you take it and you put it out yourself, you know what it is? You don't understand the business. You don't take it, just like if you go to a drink and you have 10 people say, designated what? Driver. Get one sensible person that's going to decipher all the paperwork, put it together for you, and say, hey, this is it. This
One
is
more
the
time.
maximum
Say
we
that.
want.
So we
Say
come
that.
back
Say
to
that
lack
one
of
more time.
education.
Say that one more time. One more.
You need one sensible person. We can't just be rambling on.
two.
We're not stupid. We understand. We just don't want to make a song. We want to make a beat. Back in the day when I used to be at the studio, the artist come with a song, the musician work it out, it go to the tape. Now you make a beat and write to the song. So it take it 15 minutes, 30 minutes, say, yeah, I have the song ready. What the hell are you doing? You know, where's the changes? Where's the bridge? Where's the chorus? Where's the verse? Yeah, my song big, you know, it's a tear down. Every man in America play my song. So what? Show me on Spotify. How much monthly listeners you have? 25? If you don't make a certain amount, Spotify don't give you a check. BMI don't give you a check. Because it takes too much paperwork to give you that 25 by $10. You know what I mean?
It boils down to education, like you say, empowering ourselves with the information. The legendary Mr. Ian Lewis. And
Yes.
for those people watching on the live streams and those in the room, again, the conversations go on and on and on. We talk about this all the time. I've had people come and complain to me about the little $25,000 that they got from the record label. And by now, the record must have gone platinum, and they have got nothing else. But every day they promote their Spotify page. Haven't gotten $1,000 from Spotify yet, but I digress. So when we talk about the music, coming back to you for a second, Aaron. Talking about, again, we're staying in gentrification because this is the conversation that's being had. Your resume dates back to R&B, pop with the Motowns and Polygrams and stuff like that, right?
1988.
1988, just a couple years ago. But that's a time when we saw the Dionne Warwicks, the Aretha Franklins, people like those actually making great music but not able to performing outside of the Chitlin circuit. So what we had were other people, not us, white bands, white singers, redoing their songs, right? And going into other places and performing them and making what were regionally successful records for the original artists, mainstream hits for the people redoing them, right? Talk a little bit on that. Is that gentrification in itself? And also, that was an era and a time that people were panicking, but it went away. They evolved, they grew past it, and now R&B, hip-hop, major revenue streams. Is there any confidence that we can put out there for our reggae people saying, you know what, this too shall pass, and we might end up being like reggae, like R&B, like pop?
Well, you know, in the idea of the covers or the 1950s music business and the idea of a Pat Boone doing a Little Richard song and this side of a thing you hear about, to me, the metaphor doesn't really work, because when you think of gentrification, it's that the people come in, they fix up the neighborhood, but they fix it up and they stay there. And the other people cannot really afford to stay, right? In terms of real estate or whatever. In terms of the music, not a lot of people, I mean, we talked about a little bit about West Coast reggae and their sort of spin on it, their inspiration from reggae. But I think a lot of those guys are kind of loath to call themselves reggae. You know what I mean? They're doing our thing or their thing, maybe,
Absolutely.
right? So
They are considered reggae artists in their eyes.
well, so in terms of the gentrification, that maybe is the best scenario to kind of talk about it with that meaning. People who have moved in. Now have the California guys displaced people. You go back to the business, right? Because in terms of the live touring, and particularly on the West Coast and the booking, it's kind of a lot of, it's none of it is very simple. That's in my view, right? Because in terms of Jamaican artists getting visas to tour in the US, that's step one before they can work with a promoter, before they can negotiate rates that's gonna be sustainable or work a tour. So there's a lot of elements that go into it. So maybe on that front, in terms of California reggae artists, they've built for themselves. They built a market for themselves, and it's the same sound, and you can't fault them because they put a lot of work in.
No, it is.
Right.
It is absolutely a spin-off.
It is.
But what they have, how many people in here think reggae music is not dead, but definitely like
At a low period.
where it was?
At a low period.
Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
It's absolutely not.
I don't think so.
Because, oh, go ahead. Because me and you are on the same page.
Yeah.
When you
okay.
step outside of your circle, you see the world and you see that reggae music is alive and well.
So Twitch.
Very
J-Vibe,
well.
Mr. Lewis. Again, we always gonna bring it back home. So we are confirming right now the genre of reggae music is alive and well.
Alive and well, but it's just not being led by Jamaicans.
Okay. So again,
That's why.
Tifa.
No, it's in a weird space right now, and with anything, we have to evolve and things are going to change and so on and so forth. And to reiterate what J-Vibe was saying, it's not only the West Coast, it's Europe, it's the white people that are headlining the big festivals.
absolutely.
It's Japan. You know what I
Japan,
mean? Years ago in Japan, the Japanese came to Jamaica and all of the dancers and where's Junko now? No, there's a Japanese Tifa, no, there's a Japanese Beanie Man, no, there's a Japanese Twitch. And we're not necessarily touring.
I'm
No,
not the
let's be
father.
real. No, there's a Japanese who's like, we're not necessarily touring Japan and those places extensively because they have their own reggae artists. And we are to be blamed because of diva attitudes, because of bad business, so on and so forth. So we just need to fix the narrative, the business, and again, as I always say, put back the actual music into the music.
Very good point.
You know, it's true that there's international markets where there have been successful reggae acts over time, but it's not like even their careers are on a continuous high or even a plateau. Look at Gentleman. Doesn't have a deal with a major currently. Was one time one of the biggest pop acts in Germany as a reggae artist, right? Look
But
at Brazil.
you don't need a major label anymore. A major label is
But only to say, in terms of the ebb and flow of
I know what
artist
you're
and
saying.
career or genre, that the time moves on, and that the meaning of the thing, to me, and what inspired me in the dancehall, or what's my favorite records, that's me. And the next person who's 10 years younger or 20 years younger, they don't have that same frame of reference, and I think that I can't expect them to value what I do the same, whether it's to stream it, to buy it, or to go buy a show ticket.
Right. But the West Coast bands rely on their live show for their basic capital. You understand me? They go into, for instance, if you ever heard about Reggae and the Rocks. When I started playing Reggae and the Rocks, it was Bojo, it was all of us. And we never did pass 8,000 people. Now when the modern reggae bands go in, it's 2 days. It's 24 from the bottom to the top is filled. People scamming tickets at $200. And I stand up on the side and say, man, say roots, drum and bass. I say, damn, something wrong here.
And it don't sound good.
But
To me,
check it
at
out.
least.
America has 200 million Caucasian people.
Exactly.
So they are playing our music today. I can't hate on them. As you say, they work 200 shows a year. If you tell a Jamaican band, hey, we're going to do this. And we say, no, sir. Oh, man, I have to go fight for
Yeah,
you.
we
We go
tried
tell
it.
and money have to
We've
run.
tried it. Tell a Jamaican act they gotta share rooms.
No.
They will not do it.
Exactly.
But
We are our own
even
worst
with-
enemy.
Even with Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Afrobeats, some people say Afrobeats is taking over and it's gone over around dancehall and it's gone about reggae music. It's a whole continent, sir.
Yes.
Think
Africa,
about it. The numbers.
diaspora.
You know what I'm saying? So you
Okay.
can't compare sometimes.
So let me ask you this, gentlemen, because again, at the end of the day, remember, the conversations only come forth because they're concerns, right? And people are feeling it. That's why we would love to have the artists, the producers, the selector. You don't feel nothing. You just say, I told you, you get a show, you want Diplo.
I have a concern. The displacement in what we're talking about actually reaches to the soundman them, the selectors and the DJ. And there are a lot of DJs here and selectors who can agree. The old school way of a sound system or a DJ getting a record and bringing it forth to the people has gone because everybody has social media.
Right.
And that's where the connection is lost. And that's why a song don't last for more than 5 days. Because guess what happens now? When I get a good song, J-Vibes, and I play the song and I say, well, this is a brand new so-and-so, and I become that artist at that moment. I represent the song. That's why I can't play any song. Any song I play, I have to believe in it. You understand?
Love and
because I
reggae.
represent this song.
Love and reggae.
then
Perfect example.
No plug.
Exactly. So, so what happens when I stand in front of the audience and I play a Buju Banton song or a Scissor song or a Inner Circle song, I represent the artist at the time. I connect to the people where they don't see these people. Monty don't see these people. We see the people on a day-to-day basis. So if you think you could go around the DJ and the selector and the sound system and just go to social media and 10 people like it, them 10 people, you will never meet them ever. They're in Scandinavia. You'll never meet them ever. They're in Scandinavia or somewhere far. DJs are the connector and we are being displaced in our genre, bro.
But does that go across genres because of technology?
Not
isn't
necessarily.
The hip-hop DJ, isn't the regional record or radio station in the same boat?
Our sound system culture is absolutely different than...
Totally different.
Totally different. Because remember, we come from the days where our songs couldn't even play on the radio.
Very good point.
And we know the thing. So sound system became the ghetto radio station.
Right.
And that's why you build him sound, because he want to play him in music and so that we can hear our vibe. You know what I mean? So if you skip the sound system, if you skip the DJ, you miss that connection with the people, and that's why the song them now last.
Twitch, let's take a DJ like DJ Khaled. What did he start to play first? Reggae music. Khaled never started from hip hop, you know.
I can say something. DJ Khaled used to play before me. He used to warm up.
Okay.
I can talk the things them.
Okay.
You know that too.
Georgia.
And we the best put him to be a millionaire.
It's a good youth.
No, not wrong with Khaled, but I'm just showing you is how something is represented. You understand me? YG boss because of his mom and the song. You understand me? And what he did, he brought back a Bob Marley song. A lot of people don't know that song. What song?
1972.
What song did he use?
I know the song, but if I go in and create, forget the name. I know the song.
How much people know what song he used?
It wasn't a big Bob Marley hit.
Exactly.
It was
Kaya-
Crisis.
Kaya album, right?
Crisis.
Kaya
It's
from
not a-
Kaya
Crisis,
album.
right.
It's not a big Bob Marley song, but how they put it together. That's why I said the song is the most important part of it. Now, if the song don't match the singer, okay, I'm going to give you experience. No. I was on a big festival in Germany. And when Don Penn run out, the place erupt. I mean, no, the rhythm, the bass line, unbelievable. But she couldn't sustain because the artist was a little, you understand me? It got mini vanilla.
Makes sense.
They use a face to sell a
You would say it.
Yeah, no, I'm telling the truth, but it's not a lie. So there's a certain level of marketing what is included in the thing. You understand me? The hype. Can we believe the hype? 5 out of 10 times the hype sell us wrong.
But here's the thing, though. Let me ask you this. Again, we're here to avert crisis, right? We're all here for the preservation of the genre and preservation of the culture. We focus a lot on yesterday. And I do believe that if we study the root, that's how we affect the fruit. However, we're looking for tomorrow. Most of the success stories that we speak of right now are either not here, ready to go off on a spaceship, go live good life. Twitch rich. Them man is soon gone, left sound system. J-Vibe. All that stuff. Talking about the future, Tifa too. Talking about the future as we come up. What are we saying to the young people coming up right now? Because you mentioned YG Marley. There are certain names I never bring up when it comes to musical conversations because they got a cheat code, all right? I couldn't get the clearance for that song, but again, I digress. So what I'm saying is this. What are we telling the upcomers right now? Because if we keep pointing out that, okay, well, he has the leg up because he's Bob's grandson and the mother is this person and that person, whatever, and this is how it's done. They don't have that advantage. So what are we saying to the young people right about now to get around the so-called gentrification process? Twitch, talk to me.
So let me say this real quick. The business will fix itself. And here why I say that. When you have your so-called fat cousin or your slim cousin who's not a producer, but you turn him into a producer because he has a laptop and you go in the bathroom and they say, Cartel didn't do it in a jail, so we can't do it. You're making songs, but you're not producing.
Right,
it's a difference. Right. So when you make these things, it's only going to last for so long and the business will save itself because the audience going to listen for 15 minutes and move on. And then them going to realize that, listen, we have to actually do some production. We have, because enough of these youth have talent, you know, but them have, as I say, a cheat code because of who them know.
The money them have.
And this is a digital age.
Right.
And as you said, auto-tunes, everything. The business will fix itself. Believe you me. Because we are here to talk and we cannot forget the past. We can't forget the elder them who set it for us, and that cannot die. So eventually, them are going to learn. It'll fix itself. And that's what I believe.
I think we have to touch on also training. And everybody not going to go to university to study music and, student engineering, but everybody come from a school. If you're taking it from then to now. Everybody learn from whether jam is, whether inner circle, whether, you know what I mean? No, most DJs cannot mix. It's the most annoying thing to me with the transition. I'm being honest. When I go out, it's the most annoying thing because...
Most of them mix up.
They cannot mix. And you're like, him get this song and come back to training because if, as I said, if you could play good or you could mix or you transition or you never have the nice voice like Twitch, they wouldn't put you on.
Thank you, Silkan.
They would not put you on. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with production. A lot of people don't know what mixing is. They just feel like reverb, pan left, pan right, and the song is mixed. They don't know how to mix a song. They don't know how to master a song. Same thing with the artists.
Facts.
And it come back to the same thing with stage shows. We come from a stage show culture. As much as I love a lot of the younger artists, they cannot perform.
Because them don't go training.
Exactly.
They also
do not know how to perform. Them don't know stage left from stage right. They don't know. First of all, this is what they do.
They can perform.
They hold the mic like this.
They can perform, but it's for how long?
Exactly.
But
in a sense, it comes back to training. And as I said, everybody not going to go to university, but everybody come from a school. You're not too old to learn. You know what I mean? Or you're not too big to learn. And that's what's killing us.
That's very
because
true.
Everybody wants to be a pop star, but if I put you beside Miley Cyrus, they look like foolishness. If I put you beside Beyonce, worse. As soon as they start performing them out of breath. But you want to be a pop star.
Yeah, but they want it now.
Exactly.
They want it now.
Because everything is a no.
Everything is right now. I want my song to blow up now.
Singing melody. Big up yourself. Legend.
Again, for all the people who walked in late, thank you so much for joining the program. Still some people to join us. We have about 6 seats left. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, some noise for the panel. We're getting some stuff accomplished. Legendary folks having legendary conversation. We talk again, we're keeping it youth. As I listen here, sounds to me like there are quite an array of missing cogs and missing spokes in the wheel of reggae music and Jamaican music, why we're having the issues we're having today. You've mentioned education, lack of professionalism, right? Training, the school of music, right? And when I say the school of music, it doesn't necessarily have to be something formal. Talking about coming up the ranks, as Tifa said.
So guess what?
Yeah.
Can you imagine a 19-year-old kid, he does a song, wasn't really produced good, wasn't really mastered, becomes a hit, a worldwide hit, and he becomes a millionaire in Jamaican terms, right? He's 19, right? Didn't have anything last week. This week, he's a millionaire. And you're going to tell him, say, to actually get training now, because what he did the wrong way actually worked.
Right.
So how can you convince him a rich youth with all them friends, them I say, man, done.
Yep.
How you convince him to do the right thing. Before I finish, that's why I respect Shaquille O'Neal so much. You know, he was a millionaire, but him still get him degree while going to school. These kids are not going to do that. I respect Assassin, who bust Agent Sasko, still got his degree. Sizzler was on tour. He got his degree while he was... How many of these youths can you tell that in this day and age?
Twitch.
When they bust the wrong way.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And again, it comes back to a standard. You as the DJ, from me hear this song, I hear say this song a foolish and she should have never played it in the first.
Stop. I cannot stop it when social media is a...
Yes, listen, social media is only going to last so long and no more. Because people attention span...
Tifa, stop. Full stop and abbreviation. You know much song me hate when me da play? You know how much time I know so this don't make good? You know how much time I remix some song, like actually master the song? Because people actually like the song. I'm a sister the song of potential. Smokey, my selector is here. How many songs have we remastered just to make it sound proper?
And where are they now? Where are the songs now?
But hold on, Twitch, tell them.
They're somewhere.
All right.
Tell them that software is there now, where you can actually take a song and strip out the voice.
Exactly. So because of the strip it because of STEM.
The DJs can remake a song.
So Tifa, imagine this now. Me go to an audience, right? Of say, because remember, my career spans 37 years, and I'm still working. Thank you. You mentioned 1988. That's when I started. So I'm in a crowd of not my peers, not my age group, but of younger people, actually my kids' age group. And them ask me for a song with me hate. Just imagine, you think I'm gonna work the next week? When I don't find it, I have to play it. So sometimes our hands are forced to play crap.
So hold on, and ladies and gentlemen, this is good TV. So make sure, say come up front. So here's the thing, and I appreciate what you're saying. That to some degree says, because her concern is very, very valid, and we hear that a lot. But then it leads us to ask, who dictates the quality assurance, right? So if the audience, because I feel oftentimes that, go ahead.
The audience.
The audience dictates that.
Yeah,
so if it sucks, if it's crap, if it's whatever the case may be, but the audience wants it.
That's what it is.
Then you're saying the DJ, as well as the record label, they're compelled to give that to the masses.
There's this expression, he who pays the band calls the tune.
Jaja.
That's what it is.
See there.
But listen, J-Vibes can tell you, what is a gun tune? It's shock value, you know.
Right.
What is a cursing? It's shock value. So kids go and vacillate to rebel. They're like the rebels.
So why do we complain about it when we hear it then? If we've acknowledged and we have the knowledge, and this is what Twitch said, we know this is where it's going, we know this is the reason for it, we know the trajectory of it all, but yet still when we come off at the stage and we're going to sit down with G Cole, we're complaining about it and I say, the youth them are going with all kind of things.
But them have give gun finger, how you going to
It's still an expression of art though. You have to remember that, whether because there's certain movies that we watch that we shouldn't be watching, bro. But hey, when Rambo fired the gun, them, hey,
I'm grown.
You see me? But we don't promote that, but that's what we like to watch. So it's still an expression of art, so we still have to respect that. But there are also songs that I don't play because I don't believe in the song. There's a song called, and I don't want to hurt the artist's career, but something about dung in a throat, and them, I can't play it because I got teenagers, you know what I mean?
The crowd is asking for the tune.
Nah, play it. I'm not playing that song because I feel it goes against what you know what I'm saying? I believe in.
Well, where does that begin? That begins with the producer, and the artist. For me, nobody cannot come into my studio with any kind of songs like that. I'm not producing that songs. That's not my thing. But even in still, like, cream will always rise to the top. Those songs are not gonna go anywhere.
They don't last.
They will be great, whatever, for 2 weeks, right? You play, who's the biggest hip hop person right now? One of them.
I don't know.
All right then, I don't know. But then you have Ed Sheeran or someone come out with one song and that stays #1 for like 50 months.
But Jay, a music mogul or a music label executive said there's no such thing right now as a hit song. There's a regional hit, right? So like, no, you're talking about that. You just asked the question, who's the biggest dancehall artist? Somebody in New York versus somebody in Jamaica versus somebody in Florida may say something different, right? So the question goes to the audience. has the audience changed? Have we lost any form of control? Because that's one thing I admired about our artists of the past. They had a particular control of the audience. Yes, the advent of the internet and social media has changed, has shifted a lot of things, right? But as we look out into the crowd and the audience right now, because what's the purpose of this? We need to find somebody to blame you. So the question is any of this responsibility on the audience? Not these people in the room, they're great. But the people out in the parking lot and further up the road,
Yeah,
what's
of course.
their responsibility in where the music is going?
Of course. Why did YG Marley song blow up? Because it went viral. How does it go viral?
Mama.
The people. They're playing it. On social media, they're using it for various videos and stuff. They're
And it
using
wasn't
that
on a
song.
major label
They're going.
It's
I
an
mean-
independent label.
Yeah, but when you have certain...
As it's being played.
As devil's advocate,
He's gonna make-
if you've got certain things in your background, that is a major label. You know what I mean? To be perfectly honest with you, if you have certain backing, you kind of don't even need the major label.
G Cole.
Talk to me.
Every one of the Marleys put out major songs, right?
Absolutely.
Junior gonna have the biggest hit. So just being a Marley don't guarantee that your record is going to hit.
Absolutely not.
It's going to give you an exposure because it's a Marley. And
It's a leg up.
respect. Exactly. So don't look at it that way because he said something that is true. He'd say the business is going to fix themselves. When somebody reach 45, 50 and realize them have no publishing money, no money coming, I'm going to say, boy, G Cole robbed me, you know. But all of
Tifa.
us know it's a lie. Because
You know
the
me.
songs you made rob yourself.
So we talk about, because again, you've mentioned earlier, which is facts. It's a business, right? At the end of the day, there's the music and there's the music business. Tifa is an entrepreneur, right? And we see right now a lot of people using the music business as the vehicle to the other endeavors that's going to procure the funds and the revenue. Is that where we're going right now with reggae music? I'll ask that to you, Aaron. Is that where we're going now with reggae music? As reggae is just the vehicle to take you to that platform where you can go ahead and make yourself resources.
Well, I'm thinking again about this idea with the gentrification, right? And to go back to the California thing again. So this, we're talking about probably 15 years ago when this was really starting to happen and break in the US, maybe even longer, where they would get in a van and be out on the road for weeks, doing show after show, building an audience. They started doing their own merchandise, sweatshirt, t-shirt thing,
Everything.
and selling to these local communities. It just happened that a lot of these guys were in California, where was the home base for Apple Music, Cupertino, California. And iTunes people would go out on the weekend, people who worked at Apple, and go to the local clubs, and they would see these kids. And these people would be putting out these records for upload, and they would be getting positioning on Apple. So it was a regional scene. And I think regional stuff still does happen, obviously, but the other part is with technology. And I think that's where it's difficult to make a definitive statement and say, this is what it is, because it's always changing, one, and because from where you sit, if I'm on Twitter all the time, I'll tell you one artist. If I'm on Instagram or if I'm on Meta, I'm going to say something different, right? Because this is what's happening, or particularly YouTube. What we see is that Jamaicans, or I should say reggae audience, dancehall, Jamaican reggae artists audience is primarily on YouTube, for whatever reason.
It's true.
Around the globe.
Very
And,
true.
well, right, it's lower cost, what have you. But very influential, but as you mentioned, it's Spotify's a technology company. They're not thinking about what's breaking on YouTube and how am I going to position it. They've got their own business, their own artists. So what this expression about fragmentation of media, that's one of the big struggles for all of us. But still, going back to this idea of gentrification, the reggae neighborhood is sound. There is business that's going on. There's people who you can look around this audience and see are prosperous. So it's not like it's a slum or that it's forgotten. I think about the metaphor of the city of Detroit, where I was born. And 10 years ago, they had lost, their population went below 1 million people, right? White flight and all of this. For years and years, the idea of just black people just being put on their own, right? So this renaissance, this revival is taking decades for it to happen. But when they win the Super Bowl, just joking. But you'll see how these things turn around. And I think that this is part of what we're experiencing. When I think about reggae, Bob Marley music, part of what happened, the reason that it meant something to, and sorry for this promotional plug, but I'm down here because we're doing this exhibit about this photographer, Peter Simon. He put out a book in '77 called Reggae Bloodlines. I was in high school. That's how I learned about more than Bob Marley. Ross Michael was in there, Jacob Miller, so on. And that was a conduit. That was a pathway for me to learn about it, right? And it's exhibited at Island Space during the month of February. So you must come back and see the exhibit. So, but the idea is that what was happening socially, politically,
Right.
Martin Luther King, I don't know, I'm sorry to make this plug, and it's kind of all over the place, but everybody saw Summer of Soul. Do you know this movie? Questlove put on streaming, right? And there's this other one on Netflix called Save the Children. So one is from '69, one is from '72, and it chronicles this idea after Dr. King's assassination and what was happening, political funding, what was happening in terms of social movements to get black people kind of refocused, right? Or whatever you want to say about it in terms of the outcome of that post-civil rights era. But the idea is that that influence culturally for black people around the globe, reggae was born in that moment, right? That's when it went from rocksteady, where Bob Marley and that message started to really formulate. Yes. So that's how I look at it. And the idea is that that was that moment. Think about today's cultural moments and where it's at and what's going on socially and politically. That music doesn't match the mood of the people or where the people's head is at right now, to a large part, right? There's people who still are on that, who that's where their mind is. But in terms of masses and the ebb and flow of the music, I think that's maybe something that we're dealing with. And so staying committed to the music, staying committed to the culture, staying committed to that message, that's what I'm seeing.
Awesome. Awesome.
But J. Cole,
Go ahead.
I want to ask you one question. Do you think dancehall and reggae should be in the same genre?
In the same genre?
Yeah.
Well, my answer for that is twofold. It is no. Technically, it's not the same music. However, the yes comes into this. When you look at the metrics, the genres, and I'm sure we ask this question only for accreditation, Grammys and stuff like that. That's the only reason why we care, where they go. So when we talk about the metrics, there is never going to be enough dancehall albums out. The Grammys recognize albums and of recently EPs. There's never going to be, it has never been in the course of a year where dancehall albums had been put out to meet the numbers, right? At least submitted records. So right now, you're scrounging to put the two together to make the genre category survive within the spaces that award our music. So like I said, the answer is twofold. Do I think it should be separate? Yeah. Is it smart to separate them? No.
I don't think it can be separated, but what's the definition of reggae? The bass line leads.
Correct.
Dancehall is the same thing. So
Right.
I guess that's why they just put it.
Well, actually, hold on.
90s dancehall of a bass line.
Yeah, true. No, it's different. It's different. Isn't it?
100 bar for your bass line.
That's true.
But remember, when in this day and age, when we say reggae, so if we're being perfectly honest, what we're using is the most popular word to sum up all Jamaican music. Right? So, because truth be told, if we're going to dissect it, there's some ska albums, take out them 5 there, take out the 19 dancehall, whatever the case may be, there's 4 albums. One's mine. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying pretty much is we have to keep the genres together for the life of the Grammy category.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what? So
I don't respect the Grammy because you have well not
Cameras rolling, this is good TV.
Well, not to sound in a way, but I get a Grammy already. And when I was in there, I don't think as much people was in there when I get. It's like 10, 5.
Right.
Them give you in the daytime and nothing happen. Them pass it through like, you know what Soldier did? They filmed and made their own thing to look like. You'll never get on TV. You'll never get prime time to say, hey, this is a music that caused the police to play reggae, the specials, the selectors. We have influenced worldwide music. We'll never get that credibility.
That is true.
We'll never get it.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Tifa, Grammy Award-winning. All right, 2023. J Vibe, Grammy Award-winning. Also, my album ain't even submitted.
To go back to a little bit about what Aaron was saying and what Twitch was saying, I think where the disconnect is that this generation is trying to be like America, and America has always wanted to be like Jamaica.
Very true.
So I think
Very
that's
true.
where the major disconnect is. And we can't tell them what to sing about because, as Twitch said, their reality now, like when I was going to school, it was anthrax. Now it's coronavirus. You know what I mean? It's two different things. Like the scamming and the trapping is real. You know what I mean? So I think where it has to go back to is, I think people hold us to a sound, a particular sound. Because when you say dancehall and you're going up a white club or a hip hop club, them going to play Murder She Wrote. You know what I mean? So how do we cross both of those things? I think that's where part of the solution lies, is keeping to the core principles and sound of what dancehall and reggae should sound like, coupled with what is happening in the now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Well
give it up
said.
one more time for the panel. So we're getting to the Q&A section where I'm going to come through here and answer some questions. Or should I say, have you asked the panel some questions? But before we get to your questions, I'm going to have them round out and close out by, based on what we just discussed, the conversation just had, is it really gentrification or is it really evolution? Mr. Lewis, I'm going to start with you.
It's a little bit of both, you understand me? And it's going to take a lot of understanding, you know, to what Tifa said. The business part is where I see the problem is coming, to understand the music business instead of squealing about the genres. My opinion should be separated, because how can you make 25, 30 years of peace and love, then he come back to tell a man, bore skull and push between legs? I can't understand that prefix. You understand me? Because reggae music, to my travels of the world, 7 times around the world, people come to me and cry. I don't really want to tell every story, but I was in Bosnia, and this lady came in a wheelchair, and I shake her hand, and she said, I'm going to die soon. I want to die with listening to you guys' music. The tears still run down my eye now when I look at the lady and say, damn, do we know what we created with our music? Wow. That's how strong it is, Virgin. And when you go and come back for tell a man, board, skull, and I can't subscribe to that.
Twitch, talk to me.
I'm still in Bosnia. What was the question again?
Is what's transpiring right now really gentrification or is it evolution?
Okay, I like the elder say, as Ian said, I believe it's a little bit of both. And Tifa, it's going to continue as far as Jamaicans wanted to be what is here, because guess what?
We love foreign.
I mean, Dennis Brown actually did it. John Wall did it, as far as singing over cover songs and that. So it's a Jamaican thing, really. I get what you're saying. Yeah, but them do it the right way and made the songs their own, right? So it's going to continue. And as I said, for me personally, I just believe, you know, the music is going to go fix itself, and these kids are going to learn, either the hard way, by putting out songs and realizing that it has no staying power.
Right.
They know they have to go back to the drawing board. It's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen. And reggae music is alive, and dancehall is alive. And as you said to me earlier, if Vybz Kartel do a reggae album now,
Everybody doing a reggae.
exactly.
He already did, by the way.
I didn't, you know, but you get the point I'm making.
I mean, no, if you do it,
right, no way.
Jay, talk to me.
From my perspective, I think it's a little bit of both. I also have had the opportunity to travel the world like Uncle, and it is the only genre of music that plays in every 4 corner of the world. The only genre. So I've been to places where they don't know who Elvis Presley is, but they know who Bob Marley is.
Yep.
And the whole thing with the West Coast reggae and all of that, I mean, there's, like Tifa mentioned, there's not only West Coast, it's international. It's Europe, everywhere, have its own version of reggae music. And I think we should be proud of that.
Aaron, I'm coming up with you, but a little differently. As we always mention, the different avenues of the world having their different spin, their different take on reggae music. Is that also something that is intricate for the sustaining of the genre? Everywhere having its own different grip, its own different version of this thing called reggae music.
You know, I don't know. I think on that part, the gentrification thing, or the idea that Ian's been talking about so much with the business, is going to be that longevity in terms of representing that music and in terms of it being in its purest form. I think that's there. Whether or not Brazil continue, because as you just mentioned that, this friend of mine showed me how Brazil, there's this new style that they're doing, Brazil country music with Portuguese lyrics. So in terms of the world and again, technology has changed this so much where people are exposed to things in such different ways and contexts. It's a tough question. I don't know.
Tifa, as an artist, evolution or gentrification?
Check. I think it's I agree with everything that everybody said here. I think it's a little bit of both. And with regard to what Aaron was saying, I think in terms of exposure, it carries the music to the four corners of the world, irrespective of who is singing it, but it hurts the core and the artist, the original and the core.
That definitely means that we have a part 2 coming the next time. Ladies and gentlemen, some more noise for the panel, please. So we are at the QA part of the program, and we can do one of two things. We can either ask a question for the panel, anybody can take it, or if you want to field it specifically to one person, let me know. We'll get that one person. We're going by show of hands. Who first has a question? Jaja, you walked up front for Jano.
Well, let's start with this shameless plug. Reggae Month in February, presented by Inner Circle and Jaria. Be on the lookout for all the events we got going on. We got Rastafari Day. We got a bunch of stuff. And I want to say big up to my father for investing. We got no sponsorship dollars. He's going in his pocket, you know. But also, I want to see what everybody thinks. There was a show happening on 15th of February at the Amaret Arena. Shaba, Supercat, all these people. From what I'm hearing, the show is canceled or it's not selling or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think of that? Because if that was a Latin show, sell off. If that would be a freestyle show, that would sell off. Big Meech is doing the same show there. And I think it's AG and Botafugo are the promoters, and they probably have sold more tickets already than the entire thing. But I just want to know, I'm not trying to bash nobody, but I just want to know what you guys think, why.
Yeah. So we've been talking about that recently. New York, there's been a couple of shows like that. Obviously, Buju, he did his thing, sold out 2 nights in New York, but other markets they had to cancel. So that's him individually. Other artists, what we're seeing is new promoters coming in and putting on 7, 8 headliners, Spice, Dexter Daps, so on one show in an arena, renting bigger venues. Why? To me, I think it's because there's money to be made in the community. Caribbean West Indian audience is a money-making audience. There's money there. And in terms of doing something different, something where they're going to feel safe, again, thinking about what's happening in terms of just the environment, right? You hear about small place gets shot up, right? Serious. But Live Nation venue, you don't hear about that so much, right? So, I mean, it does happen, of course. But the point is, I think that the trends of where people want to go for a show, what they want to experience in terms of entertainment, the price of tickets having gone up so much during or and after the pandemic,
yeah.
that it's the market adjustment is what I would say. Is it going to be a new trend or is it just for this season? We're going to see. The other part is when you have 7, 12 headliners like that, they can each do 15 minutes and the audience is going to be okay. And they're probably cheaper because you do those big venues and you use track and everybody makes money. That's my
I think there's a disconnect between the promoters and the street. The lack of street promotion. Because no matter what, people say it's a digital age. Well, if you see these headliners, you want to see a flyer at your foot on the road and everywhere. You want to see the flyer. So they think you can go around the old school way of promoting and just do social media and you do this and you do that. Nah, you need to be in where the little places too.
Yeah.
The same little places with Ecstatic and Super Sound and Twitch, big up the flyer. We need to see you. You cannot lose the connect with the people, bro. And that's what these shows, I want to see Supercat and Shabba, of course. But you just don't feel like it's somebody you know keeping it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has that disconnect.
Yeah, there was a disconnect between the marketing and the promotion.
Yeah.
A major disconnect. And it's true him talking like most people like if I don't go into coconuts or I don't go into a Donna's or a Dutch pot and see the flyer, like, it's not popping. We have to just be real. That's just our culture as Jamaican people. And not only that, so I think because the show was supposed to happen, I think, June last year. And then all of a sudden I saw a flyer. There was no other additional or supplemental marketing to say, you know, we're coming back. This is big. This is what we're offering. We need it to come out. They just posted a flyer. You know what I mean? So I think they dropped the ball when it come on to marketing and promotion.
Do the artists want to do the promotion? Do they want to do a show? Do they want, they just say the promoter book me and give me a deposit? The rest is him the promoter, let him do his job. But that's not what you go. You have to be active on top of your social media too. Blast out, anything necessary. If it even take off your clothes, you know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the panel, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for the panel. We got one more coming around here.
Greetings. Greetings. My name is Talbert, saying a reggae artist who won the circuit now for a good while. Saying, enough one never heard of I. Big up to G Cole. Now this is my first attendance, you know. So I have a question for the panel. For a man like me who want to spread the word of cultural reggae and Rastafari, and to find that niche, to find the person who share my views and opinion and ideas. Because to the marketplace they them know. The culture is like, now get exposure. So for a man like me, where do I go?
Let's start with
Rasta. Come like a bubble you have to go in. So all the things set up right now. Okay, so the views that you and I have from how we grow is not the same anymore. You know what I mean? So as soon as you say certain things, they want to cancel it higher. You know what I mean? But you have to stay strong to your beliefs too as well. You know what I mean? But to find a niche, you just have to keep going. You know what I mean? Keep staying true to your beliefs and try not offend those guys.
Yeah, but you know what you have to understand, my brethren? You just have to make the music that the people feel. That one song can turn your whole career around. So don't compromise. Don't try and make a little juggling tune just because man say make one. Just stay to what the essence of what you feel. Be real at all times. And trust me, a long time I do this. You're not going to miss.
If I could add, I say identify your core strength. If it's performing, if it's writing, if it's instrumentalism, you know, whatever that is, and cultivate that, and then grow the business around that skill, that talent.
Not only that, but promote yourself, right? Everything is, you have free promotion with social media. You don't need to pay to promote yourself, you know? Social media is there. Be present at events where people see you and people can hear you, you know? Just be there, be everywhere, promoting you.
The omnipresent reggae artist. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel, one more time. I got another question over here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lukey. I've been behind the camera for 5 decades, somewhere thereabouts. I just want to add to the conversation that gentrification or what was the other? Gentrification or evolution. It's very hard in my mind to say the difference. What we're seeing today is Chocomolan on a global stage. Chocomolan on a global stage. And I hope you all know what Chocomolan is, Mr. Gray, right? You're in the wrong place. Right? Not every artist who performed at Chocomolan, right, became a big-time ska artist. Right, Ian? I'm not saying that you were at Chocomolan. Right? Jamaica's music evolved from bebop into ska, etc., 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 and it is where it is at today. And the only reason why the Scatterlights were successful is because they rose to the top of the performers at Chocobo Lawn, right? Following Chocobo Lawn, you had Jimmy Cliff, right, who was singing the ska alongside with the Scatterlights. Byron Lee and the Dragoneers were asked to go to Chocobo Lawn, which, by the way, was built by Eddie Siaga, to promote the music of dance hall. Dance hall, right? It was a place, and it kept the name Dance Hall because of the kind of performances and the music that happened there. I used to do what you are doing today, Beeston Street, downtown Kingston, and I saw people, musicians, performers down there in the early 70s and late 60s who could not come up and rise because you had other people who were better than they were. You understand? So where we are today is what Jamaica's music has evolved to on a global stage. Think about the small acre and a half called Chocomo Lawn, right? And put it as a globe with how many billions of people. When you go to Timbuktu, you hear your music. You're on your way to Australia to play reggae music, right? We're talking about West Coast music, what you call, quite humorously, and I believe it, Reggae LeBlanc, right? Right? Because that is where we are, and that is what we are proud of as Jamaicans, that we have affected the social consciousness and the socialism of the globe, the entire world. You've been there. You've been around the world with Peter Tosh and Bob Marley and all of them, right? Miss Pat here has been playing the music from 17 North Parade. I used to come and buy music down there, right? So we are not saying that reggae is dead or even that Jamaica's music is dead. Jamaica's music, people, has evolved into what it is today. And the cream of the crop will always rise to the top. Thanks.
Mr. Lucrative.
Thank you, Lukey. Lukey was one of the producers of last year's Reggae Genealogy, and we thank him very much. Copeland Forbes has a question, and then Richard, and then a gentleman in the back corner, and then this one.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I listened to everything that's been said here, and I was reliving a lot of the moments, especially what Tifa spoke about, because I was part of that entourage that went to Japan and conquered Japan, pulling same 70,000 people, and we lost it because I see fight backstage. Indisciplined people, the people said, you're on next stand here and you're half a mile away playing domino. And then the next thing I'm going to tell him, forgot S in mother, tell the Japanese that. Now, I was in Brazil the other day with Marcia Griffiths, and she was forced to do songs that she doesn't even remember. She had to do songs like Don't Let Me Down and Survival, because the other songs that you all are accustomed to is not popular and not known down there. Boom, the phone ring, and who was on the phone? Joe Bogdanovich from Jamaica. He said, I heard you're in Brazil, and I'm thinking of taking some fest to Brazil. I said, okay, I'm right beside one of the top promoters. I gave him the phone. And Joe started calling names like Jean Paul, Beanie Man, Bounty Killer. All I can hear is no, 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 going down the line, you know. And then Joe said, so who are the artists that are known there and accepted? And the guy started going through Errol Dunkley, Johnny Osborne, Eric Donaldson, what's the name from England, Steel Pulse, and he started calling some names. And these are the people, when Eric Donaldson goes there, he gets police escort from the airport to go into the city. Now, I looked at it now and I said to myself, I've been going to Brazil from 1980 with Jimmy Cliff. And I looked to see what caused the transition that the people are not into the modern music that you know, we are experiencing now. So the panel one of the most brilliant panel I see for a long time, you know. Kudos to those who put it together. I would like to hear it from one or two of you, what you think we could do to remedy that leak that we have down there. I will run back quickly. When I took John Holt there the first time, we had to send out to get the songs and write the hook lines on some paper and spread it all over because John didn't even remember those songs that he recorded how much years ago. So what you think we can do to mend that situation down there?
I think it's about the music, really. Put it out better quality music, to say, with a message. All of those artists that you call, their songs have a message, and it's mostly positive, right? It's funny because all of those same artists are headline artists in Europe, right? And everywhere else except here. So why is that? And all of the West Coast bands and Hawaiian reggae and all of that stuff, they only listen to those old school artists, funny enough. So to say to remedy, the only thing I can think of is quality control, better music, and the message.
But Copeland, you must understand. Okay, let's look at UB40. 90% of their catalog is Jamaican songs that they cover. Versions of Here I Am Baby was an Al Green song covered by Al Brown. Red Red Wine was a song sung by a Jamaican artist. So if a band like UB40 can tour America and play 5,000 to 10,000 people a night at $300 a ticket, singing Jamaican songs, where's the problem? You see the problem we have? We are not promoting our own music. We are promoting a genre that we don't understand with yourself. Supa Twitch is a DJ. I went to one of my friends to a dancehall. I had to come out. I don't know what, I couldn't stay in there.
I know me not play, man.
No. I never say you are playing a stage. But I just saying, just like you said, Twitch, play the record and you say you're not going to play. Right. So your integrity tell you, say, no, sir.
It means a lot to me, man.
No, go play. I'm not compromising.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing me I tell you, Russ. Don't compromise. Don't compromise your thing, Virgin. Don't compromise. Bob Marley never compromised.
True that.
He never compromised, and still till today, Bob Marley be 80 years old. And I'm telling you, the whole dancehall industry, in terms of royalties, do not make as much money as Bob Marley catalog.
Father Ian, if
You
I could
understand?
say, I think the answer is that they got a tour there. The artists have to go. That's what the difference is. There's business obstacles to getting them to go, right? Which you just talked about, which exists. But the answer is that that's what's going to do it. And I would cite just this last year, we did some work with Romain Virgo, who, before his album came out, self-funded touring through Europe, took lower money, did 2 European tours, and then did, first time since I've been at VP, a back-end deal with VP to do an East Coast tour, 4 shows in the US. Promoters didn't think he could sell the ticket. We couldn't get another promoter to take the show on a standard basis, up front, whatever his fee was. But they took a back-end deal, and they got the shows, and and the shows made money. So the point is, it can work, but it's the business aspect that people have to understand. You mentioned Japan. Japan right now, our guy over there, he's telling me constantly, the yen is terrible versus the US dollar. They can barely afford to buy the recorded music, much less be bringing people over, much less then paying them the sort of exorbitant rates that artists had been asking. And again, particularly after the pandemic. Right. So that's something that artist community has to work with. You know, there's certain shows or markets, maybe they tour the Caribbean, they have set promoter, they can do 1 show, 2 shows, New York and out.
That's it.
But you don't grow your touring business. And there's other artists to mention. The other one is Itana, who has done that. Respect to Itana, because she has also toured and sacrificed to get out on the road, both US and Brazil. Soja, tours Brazil and has a strong following there because they've been doing it for years.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think it's the artist fees that are charging too much money?
Of course.
Is that a problem?
Of course, that's part of it. Of course,
Because you can't charge what you charge in New York.
of course. We know that.
In Milwaukee.
We know that. But,
Come on,
but
let's-
just
let's
to
be real.
answer the
It doesn't
question,
make any sense.
But to answer the question, it's because we're not going there. In the same way, the demand level for Buju, him coming back after X number of years, was because he's in the market. You can see him locally, right? So I think that's where it's at. And hopefully there'll be people who want to organize themselves to tour. If it's 10 dancehall artists, they could sell. They'll sell if they get over there. UK otherwise. And if you look at it, some of the streaming markets, because you were talking about that, Ian, dancehall is streaming in Japan. Dancehall is streaming in England and in Canada. And these guys could work, but it's a matter of how you build your business.
UK is very good.
Can I add something there, Mr. Copeland? I think it comes down also to education and research. Because automatically off the bat, when you say dancehall or reggae, you don't think Brazil. But then it might be a big market or a sustainable market, but because persons are not doing their education and research, they're not knowing that, okay, this might be a thing. That's the first thing. And the second thing, especially with Jamaican people, they tend to lean towards popularity and hype. Because you're popular doesn't mean you're good.
Right.
And vice versa. You know what I mean? Because again, those set of artists might not necessarily have been popular here to book, but they're popular in Brazil. So it comes down to the education and the research. We need to start researching these markets. We need to stop saying, yeah, we're big in the four corners of the globe, but where?
Tifa, one of the things that really stuck out to me, what Mr. Copeland said, is the discipline that we lack in our genre. The lack. So we've seen it all the time, how artists and their entourages and how they act and how they behave, and them go certain places one time and them never go back. And nobody don't want to work with them.
Exactly.
Nobody, you know what I'm saying? So that's you know, the egos.
But Twitch, look
that
at
comes
this.
along with
Hold
it.
on. We want to get a few more questions. We want to get a few more questions in. Please,
All right.
please. So keep your questions short, please, and then the panelists can.
Sure, tell me enough to say no. All right, may I tell you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Distinguished panelists, Sir G. Cole. Gentrification. You know, because I really want to go back to the core of the presentation, the gentrification of the music. When we talk about gentrification, we're talking about, imagine a geographical space, run down, and some people with money come in and them just buy up the thing and transform it. Gentrification speaks to a transformation, right? We have been making music in Jamaica for the past 73 years, thereabouts, right? And one of the things that's lacking in Jamaica, with Jamaica and its approach to the music business, is that we say it's an industry, but the fundamentals that, you know, would underline an industry, we don't have it. Nobody in Jamaica really puts big money. No big money in Jamaica where is behind the music. And so the music is developing outside of Jamaica. Is that a bad thing? You know, and that's a question that I'm trying to I'm listening for the answer, because we don't have that superstructure in Jamaica to develop the music. Most of the big names in the music in terms of the promotion and the marketing are outside of Jamaica, but the music originated in Jamaica. And so is the gentrification a bad thing?
I think there's attempts being made. I know Shaggy is doing his Island Music Conference, and not to just plug what they're doing, but there is an effort to bring people together in terms of the industry locally and other industry, not just the musicians, producers, but to help musicians find out about funding, find out about, you know, other aspects that's going to support their business, and just to bring people together as a community. So I think there's efforts being made in Jamaica. That's just one. During the month of February, in Reggae Month, and I'm sure Babsy Grange would have a few things to say about what they're trying to do to bring the young people in and to educate them. Now, true, not all of it is working, and it's taken some time, but I do think there's efforts being made.
It'll turn out, okay. When you say, we have such, how do you put it? reggae music, dancehall is such a beautiful thing, and I don't think Jamaica embraces it. The government don't embrace it the way they should, man.
Agreed.
They don't. So when you say that, you want me to cuss, but I'm not gonna cuss. But they haven't tried. It's been Singing Melody, you've been there, you've seen it, how dancehall has been put to the side. And that's why even our forefathers fought for sound system culture, just to have the music played. You know what I mean? There's a classism that separates.
True.
From original, I know that, but I grew up in it. You understand? The only reason why
the system was different.
Ian,
You had Byron,
exactly.
Granville Williams, and the Roots man couldn't go in.
Right, so there's a classism, so they haven't cultivated
there.
and put
But
the
he
music
made
in the
a
right
very good
space.
point. The question he asked a very good point. Jamaica had a music industry. When I was growing up, I don't know if you hear about Yabby U. Yabby used to ride a bicycle. Till he was the original making of the rhythms. So you would have a man of him little label, and he would come, he would go down to my spot, press him record, sell it in North Street, Joe Gibbs. We had an industry where you could make your master and go around and sell it to the shops. So a Chris Blackwell come to Jamaica to take a Bob Marley. Then he took a Burning Spear. Then he took a Third World. Then he took us, Jacob Miller. Then he was building a global empire via reggae music. Then he went to England, he found Steel Pulse. So basically, taking it outside of Jamaica without authenticating Jamaica, you have a problem. But the genre of modern reggae music, which a lot of Jamaicans don't even understand. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. You asked the question. How did a white band like Soulja win the Grammy? Can you answer me that question?
No, he can't.
Nobody can answer me.
No, and
Give me a good answer.
And just to add to what Twitch was
Hold on,
saying,
give me an answer why.
They registered with the Grammys and they developed a voting block and they
Okay.
participated in it for a number of years.
In America, in voting, you have what? You have popular vote and you have the electoral college. They visited the electoral college by gaining votes. They didn't win it because it was a great reggae album. They went to the system and the system gave them the Grammy.
Yes.
Because it's not reggae music. If you say reggae music, you have to judge it for what it is, reggae music. So
But here's the thing to Mr. Lewis, to answer that as I get to Tifa, because she said something real quick. Truth be told, and if you really observed most of the albums submitted in the year that Soulja won, based on the criteria for Grammys, that was one of the albums that had the most what is considered reggae music. All right, so if we're going to dissect and say why they won, this is a totally different show. We need another after party for that when the bar is open. But I get what you're saying. Okay. But in all honesty, it's not just that.
Hold on, Supa Twitch. Play me a Soulja song.
Okay.
All
right, hold on.
There is a DJ who have no clue to Soulja. So how can Soulja win a Grammy?
You need to ask our broke
reggae
DJ, Twitch
category?
Rich. Ladies and gentlemen, we could talk to Tifa real quick. Here's
all right, to add what Twitch was saying and back to Uncle Copeland with the gentleman there, it starts at home. And I agree with you. The government, we, the people, are not doing enough. Do you know that there are radio stations in Jamaica that have actively stopped playing reggae?
Yes.
There are radio stations in Jamaica that have actively stopped. And I can name them, I don't choose to. No, I'm just saying they've actively decided to remove the genre of reggae. So, you want something to be international and global when you're not supporting it at home.
We should have schools. We should have DJ schools. We should have
I agree.
so much different things coming because
I agree.
so many youths I know, so many geniuses I know who are in studios who cannot read music, but they will play a guitar.
I agree.
Because, you know what I'm saying? We don't
If
value
it's
what we have.
two things that Jamaicans produce is athletes and artists.
All right, three more questions here. Brilliant conversation.
How are you doing? My name is Andrew Lindo. I have a comment and a question. The comment is this. We are the original. That's number one. The carbon copy can never do what the original can do. The carbon copy maintains a DNA of the original, but it's not the original. When you don't take care of what you own, somebody else take it and make it their own. So we have an obligation and a responsibility to take care of this music the best way we can. You understand? The bottom line is we need literacy. Literacy. No, you can't force feed people, you know. But there are some people who's gonna gravitate because of circumstances they've been through previously. After you reach 30 years old and say, backside, me have 3 picnic, and me not have no royalties. You know, I forgot get literally, you have to get into the trenches and say, all right, we have to figure out this, we have to start out this, you understand? But we need to promote more literacy, you understand? And not everybody accept education. Some people just lag-headed. I just saw life go. But I'm gonna tell you, there's a few in the bunch, you find them, work with them, and make them grow to be something.
I love it.
All right.
Got one over here, Khalib.
Yep. Oops, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. One of the things I find, and in listening to the panel and in doing this thing, is one of the breakdowns. The reason for the breakdown is what I think it's the motive, the expectation, and the work ethic. As the people who make a living out of reggae, who have, as you said, you go to Brazil, and they said they want Eric Donaldson, they want the older school guys. When they were doing the music at that time, their motives were pure. The motive nowadays is get on, get a hype, make a money, or more than not, sometimes it's not even to make a money, it's just the hype, just to be hype. And if your motives in doing something is not pure, it will not pan out. So that is why a lot of it's just like flash in the pan music now. And the expectation is like you come with the wrong motives already, and then you immediately expect to be a star without having the work ethic of being an artist. Because these, sometimes I listen to some of the artists and I hear their experiences of rehearsal. Man, I faint in a rehearsal because rehearsal are going long. I have a band, and when we used to rehearse at one point, we quit our jobs, foolish as it was, and we used to rehearse from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. And then when we started touring, a lot of people come and say, oh, yeah, but I like going to the band. And I remember what this guy, and I said, yeah, but we rehearse from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. He said, yeah, man. I'm going to say, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. 6 days a week. He said, yeah, man. I'm going to say, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. It was that time I realized, no, we can't do that. But it took work, and nobody is willing to put in the work to get to where the music should be.
Absolutely. The work ethic, the lack of work ethic in our genre is crazy, especially nowadays. And as you mentioned about rehearsal, there was a clip I saw on, I don't know if it was YouTube or Instagram, where Rough Cut Jummy, he got so mad at the artist because the artist never go rehearsal, and he was cussing the band. He was cussing the band. Yo, you know, play my rhythm right. Bro, you did not do rehearsal. Yo, we par with Stephen and Junior Gang all the time. Them Monday rehearse every single day, and them tour 8 months of the year, but them still rehearse every day. Why? Because J-Vibe, you can talk about that. You know, 8 hours a day. So as you said, the work ethic is lacking in our business. Work ethic, discipline, and just common sense more time.
Jano.
Good evening, and by the way, congratulations to the panel and to G. Cole. I think this is very, very well put together, and hopefully you'll do this again. One of the things I've noticed over the years is that Jamaicans seem to think that they have a monopoly on reggae music. Now, yeah, that used to be. And if you listen to all what I've heard today, it's nothing but people that have content, that have good lyrics, song well structured. That's what you hear. Production is way, way up there. When I listen to the music now, I don't see that, number one. Number two, if a non-Jamaican happens to win a Grammy, they are upset. And I said to a friend of mine in Jamaica who was very upset one time, I said, by the way, have you heard the album that won? No. Are you going to listen to it? No, I don't care. A Jamaican don't win it. And I think that's the narrow-mindedness that we have to get out of. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let me be the first to say that I'm not Jamaican.
You're from Supa Zone.
I'm American, but I grew up in Jamaica. I went to school in Jamaica. I mean, one of the baddest Jamaican selector them over the years. So as you said, when I see so-called outsider wins the Grammy, I have no problem with it because guess what? Music is music. And if we do what we're supposed to do, that would have never happened.
Yeah, but Twitch, I don't have no problem with it either, you know. But I think how the Grammy judges the reggae album is not right.
So let me ask you this, Uncle.
Yes.
If Collie Buddz wins the Grammy over Bob Marley and everybody else,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
anybody vexed?
But take Collie Buddz now. Collie
Bermudian,
Buddz is
from
one of
Bermuda.
the few modern reggae artists that can go into a Jamaican crowd and rock them, you know. He's one of the few drink smoke when the herbs come around. Him have the tune them that they could rock too. But Soldier, I record Soldier. Them record at my studio. I see them. It's a patchwork. It's a patchwork. Me not bring them down. Not fight no man. It's a patchwork. It don't right because.
Me nah come back to your studio.
No, me not me not feel away. It's not Sly and Robbie. It's not Sly and Robbie. It's not Studio One. Remember, you know, when you borrow a man thing, you know, borrow it good.
That is true. That is true.
Don't half it.
And I don't think anybody will argue you, trust me, in terms of the integrity of the music. Nobody will argue with you. But again, I think because we know that it's not... Listen, political campaigns are popularity contests, right? At the end of the day, if I put out the greatest record tomorrow, and Buju put out the worst record tomorrow, he's going to get over me. Why? 1 million followers versus 15 grand, right? It's just numbers. It's metrics. Don't take it personal.
Miss Pat has a comment.
Yes, I want to congratulate all the panelists and G. Cole. I just want to say one thing. People imitate our Jamaican reggae music for one thing. We are the best. People don't imitate bad things. They
Absolutely.
We are the best.
That's true.
Miss Pat, you are the best. You are the best.
And last question goes to Singing Melody.
Hi, everyone. I am very, 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 very happy inside and out. To have a panel like this, all the years I'm in music and watching Mr. Copeland, Fabs, them and even Virgin there talk about these things regular. I kind of take a little bit of everything here. And here is what. I appreciate each and every one of us that basically comes up with an idea what needs to be done. You see, this whole world is built on this thing called noise. You know what you call a noise? Is that everybody's saying something. But what it is that really needs to be done. And it starts right here from panels that needs to happen and continue in Jamaica. A matter of fact, when there is anything to deal with education of the music in Jamaica, you go to them, you don't see nobody. You understand? And we have to applaud ourselves. G. Cole, give thanks, and the panelists, listen, this need to continue. Because this is what's gonna fix the young mind as well. We can't count them out. When I was growing up in the music, you have General Echo and Yellowman and all of these people that I was walking behind and hearing them still doing slap music and everything, and people was very happy with it. It was everything. It is similar to what's happening now. It is just the immediate shock that we're getting right now. And the immediate shock is that we're hearing these music more popular, more regular than the music that needs to be played, that we feel needs to be played. Now, so I'm wrapping up because I've been listening and I'm very, very happy. And I'm learning too. You know what I mean? Anyone here that doesn't learn anything here today can just go home and just don't bother go back and no more. For me, I am very happy and I just want to see more of this. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Respect. The great
Legends,
singing
ladies and
melody.
gentlemen.
first of all, beautiful panel, beautiful everything. Conversation brings things to consciousness, and all of us are a little more conscious. And me and Singing Melody have gone around the world with this thing, and I can tell you something. The American reggae audience is not conscious at present. And we need to bring that back to life, because I can tell you we'll go to Africa and be greeted by 2,000 people. We'll go this place and be greeted at the airport with more people than we can see in a room in America at any time. They're not coming out anymore unless it's a slackness DJ. And, you know, I'm not hating on them. I want them to make their money, but we need to protect the thing that we grew. All right? And I want to, a shameless plug that I got permission to do. Black-owned establishment, great food, great place. Cocoon, Sunday night, tomorrow night, Singing Melody will be hosting the live band. Come on out and enjoy yourself. It's free. Come out, just buy your dinner and come see Singing Melody and see what he does and see why he's that ninth wonder of the world with that voice. All right?
Legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the panel. And one more time for yourselves with the questions. And as we try to figure out, as we disseminate who the onus falls on and the responsibility. No, I'm saying as we try to find out who the onus falls on and the responsibility for where the music is and the climate of the music. One thing I always implore everybody to do, look at each other, look around. Music drop every day. When last you buy one? When last you download? Fire me up on no. So here what happened now. Anytime the music comes out, we are very vocal. Everybody got an opinion, right? Everybody talk about stuff. I did an interview before. Somebody told me how them not like this and them not like that. Them love Taros. My question was, how's the album? She said, what? I said, the album bad? She said, yes. I said, do you have it? She said, no. So my response was, it is you. All right? You the problem. We're entitled to the opinion, but we decide that we're not support the thing. So personally speaking, I feel like the audience, us, we personify, we apostrophize this reggae music. Our thing, it belongs to us. It's our birthright. Except when it comes time to support it.